First World Cup events, and 3 months out from the Olympic Winter Games in Milano Cortina, we've been treated to stars and shocks. Olympic favorites American Jordan Stolz and Dutch skaters Femke Kok and Joy Boona have been the headliners. The American Stolz has already authored a clean sweep thus far of the 500, 1,000, and 1,500 meters. Meanwhile, Boona has taken golds in the 1,000 and 15. And Kok dominated the 500 and will aim for another one today. Now for the shock. French inliner turned speed skater Timothy Lubino supplied the thunder. He raced the 5,000-meter world record set by his good friend 4 years ago and setting Salt Lake City on fire on Friday night. So today we wrap up the first leg of the ISU World Cup speed skating season from the Utah Olympic Oval, holding our collective breath as to what we will witness in the next 2 hours. Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to our coverage of ISU speed skating. The stars will be out one more day. The events on the schedule for today will kick off with the team pursuit for both the women and the men. Then the second running of the 500. The first was yesterday, and then the mass start will conclude our weekend in Salt Lake. So over the next 2.5 hours, that is what we will see. And I tell you what, the Utah Olympic Oval's moniker of the fastest ice on earth living up to its billing, because entering today's session, and this includes the B division that we've seen earlier on this third day, 259 personal bests have been thrown down by the skaters and Lubino's world record. And speak of the devil, we will see him, Jordan Stolz. We're actually going to see Stolz a couple of times here today. Stolz will go for another 500 gold medal, and as of right now, he is listed to race in the mass starts later on today. So again, we will open things up with 4 pairs of the women's team pursuits, and then move on to the 4 pair for the men. What a classic weekend it has been so far. And again, it's a compressed World Cup schedule, because this not only is for World Cup gold medals and world ranking points, but for a lot of these athletes and a lot of these countries, it's Olympic berths on the line for the individuals and max quotas as much as the countries can get by the results that these skaters have been pouring in Salt Lake City. Next weekend to Calgary. Fastest ice on earth, that is their moniker. Then to Heerenveen in early December, to Hamar in the middle of December. Those are the 4 World Cup events that will determine the individual rankings and how these athletes shake out and if they will earn berths to the Winter Olympic Games coming up in February in Italy. There will be one final World Cup event just prior to the Olympics, more of a tune-up. That'll be in Enzel toward the end of January, only a couple of weeks before the Olympic flame is lighted. So ready to go. Women's team pursuit, there's the start list. The defending Olympic champions are the Canadians, and they will be in pair 2. The defending world champs, 2 years running in the final pair. Those are the Dutch. And we will open up with the first of these 8 squads. There's a look at the Dutch squad. We'll see Joy Boona, Ritma de Jong, Elise Doel. Those are the 3 expected to be on the ice a little bit later. These will be the top 8 ranked teams we saw at the end of last World Cup season. There are the Norwegians. They finished number 8. As a matter of fact, in all 3 of the team pursuits conducted over the World Cup season last year, it was an identical finish. The Dutch won all 3. The Japanese finished silver. The Americans finished bronze in all 3. So those are the top 3 ranked squads. The Italians finished last year ranked number 7. Lola Brigida, Linda Rossi, and Alice Marletti are the 3 on the ice for the Italians. Rania Wiklund, Aurora Lovas, Marte Birkenferny, the 3 for Norway. So off we go, right on time, 3 o'clock Eastern. And the first of 4. And there's a look at the Norwegians. Vikeland is in the white armband, Lovis in the red, Fernie is in the yellow. Italy again ranked number 7 coming out of last year, Norway number 8. And even as you look over the last 4 or 5 years, it has been a very common trio on top of the podium. The Olympics, it was the Canadians, the Japanese, and the Dutch. It was the same combination of those 3 teams at the World Championships back in March. As it was in 2024, the U.S. broke onto the world podium back in 2023, winning bronze, but it has been generally the Dutch, the Japanese, and the Canadians that have dominated the last half-decade in the women's team pursuits. And Norway with 4 laps to go, 2 in the books, about a second clear of the Italians. All trying to push in tempo, in stride. At the front for the Italians, that is Lola Brigida in the white armband. Rossi is in the red, Marletti in the yellow. 3 laps to go. About a 2.25 seconds lead for Team Norway. We will see the Canadians coming up in the next pair. The U.S. will be in pair 3, and then the top 2 teams in the world at the end of last year, the Dutch and the Japanese, will be in the final pair. And with 2 laps to go, Norway has increased the lead to almost a couple of seconds now on the Italians. The B division of the team pursuit was held a couple of hours ago on this ice. Kazakhstan actually had the best time of the 6 different teams. Belgium, Poland, Czechia, Switzerland, and Korea were out on the ice earlier today in the women's team pursuit. Again, vying for the slots. Not a lot of them. A maximum of 8 teams will be in the Winter Olympic Games coming up in a couple of months. So all these times, all these points matter. Bell lap. And the Norwegians still comfortably on top of the Italians by almost 2 full seconds entering this final lap. The lead is now over 3 with a half a lap to go. Now the world record set by Japan on this ice 5 years ago of 2:50, and there's the Norway coming across in 3:01.44. And again, Kazakhstan out of the B division threw down a 2:57. So Norway in the A division goes about almost 4 full seconds slower. So 3 pairs yet to come. Italy finished at 3:05.05. So as far as points accrued over the course of this team pursuit matters for Team Kazakhstan. With that time they threw down in the B division, 2:57.81. We'll see how that slots up here. Second of the 4 pairs, there's Team China. Hu, Yang, and Han are the 3 out there. Han is in the yellow, Yang in the red, Hao in the white, pounding the thighs. There is Team Canada, the reigning Olympic champions. And this crew of Weideman, Malte, and even a Blondine at the back in the yellow, they have been together racing. I mean, this is one of their hallmark events. They've been a team for many, many years. And Weideman, who stands 6'2", towers over her teammates, will cut through the wind and lead things off up front for Team Canada. China finished ranked number 5 at the end of last campaign. Canada number 6, but again, they've been on a world podium, the Canadians, each of the last 4 world championships that have been held. Again, they were held in 2022 because of the Beijing Olympics. But Canada bronze last year with this trio, silver at the Worlds in 24. They were the world champs in 23, and silver again back in 2021. So this team knows how to get on the podium, knows how to win, as they proved in Beijing 4 years ago. And Canada out quickly over Team China. Weideman still leads the way here for Team Canada. Malte has already had a terrific week and took bronze in the women's 3,000 meter back on Friday. And Canada looking solid so far. 127.67, comfortably on top in this pair, but it is all about time. And the top 4 teams from a year ago are in the next 2 pair. Staying in perfect touch, the Canadians. 155.27, 2 laps to go. It's a pretty good run here by the Canadians. You're looking at a 253-ish. We'll see how this lap time checks in for Team Canada. Trying to hang tight. There's the bell for Team Canada. 223, so this could be a 252-ish for the Canadians here as they slam on the accelerator here. Weideman, Malte, Blondin, a half lap to go. Coming around the corner, the clock will stop when the 3rd skater crosses. And here come the Canadians fanning out toward the line, and they will cross in 252.39. Hard to get a gauge on how that time will hold up, but obviously the Canadians pretty pumped with how that looks. 252 low for the Canadians. And that'll be a notable time for the U.S., Japan, and the Dutch to try and take down. But again, we're early in the World Cup season. 3 more World Cups to go. And then the final tune-up in Inzel before the Olympics. But there's the reaction. I mean, they know how they've been training. They knew what they wanted to throw down. And yeah, Malte and the Canadians pretty pumped, elated at that number. So Team Canada in the clubhouse, 252.39. 2 more pairs to go. Here's the number 4 ranked team out of last year in Germany. Josia Hoffmann, Josephine Schlorb, and Leah Sophie Schultz. Schultz in the yellow will be at the front. And here is Team USA. World bronze in 23. Hey Manganella, Brittany Bowe, Greta Myers, the 3 on the ice for the U.S.
Ready.
So the Germans head out. Schultz at the front. The U.S. will send Brittany Bowe to the head of the pack. So off we go. Team USA and Germany. And already we'll keep an eye on the first initial splits. The U.S. goes out in 1866. 75-100 is faster than what Team Canada just went out on. And on home ice, 32.56 for Team USA. They're almost 8/10 clear. Again, the U.S. in the 3-team pursuits last year held during the World Cup season. Bronze, bronze, bronze. Identical podium for all 3, the Dutch, the Japanese, and the U.S. But the Americans looking quite strong so far as we get a head-on look at Team Germany. And 59.99 for the U.S., almost a half second clear of the Canadians. Inside 4 laps to go. There's a look at the Germans. Young squad, a lot of experience here for the U.S. Bo leading the way. Myers is in the yellow. Manganello sandwiched in between. And the U.S., that lap cost them. They now fall behind the Canadians by about 0.2 of a second. And Germany stayed very close with the Americans. It's within about 1/3 of a second of this pair. And Team USA losing more time to the Canadians. 2 laps to go, and the U.S. 7,200s behind, still right now in second position. Germany stays within about a half second. Again, the Dutch and Team Japan are in the final pair coming up. And that number that Canada just threw down looking to be pretty strong based on how the Americans are looking at the back half of this race. We'll hear the bell. And the U.S. is now over a second behind the Canadians. Just trying to simply hold off Team Germany as well. And losing a little bit of touch with one another. Perfect unison there by the Germans into the final half lap. The U.S. still in front in this pair. And now they will fan out across the ice down the home straight. 2:52.39 the Canadian time. The U.S. clocks in at 2:54.01. 1.6 seconds behind Team Canada. Some golf applause by Brittany Bowe. U.S. clocks in second with 1 pair to go. Coaching staff pleased at this stage. Again, just opening weekend of the World Cup season. Still a lot of cleaning up to do on technique and strategy where you lost time. We'll try to buffer that up over the next few weeks. But the U.S. will finish no worse than 4th. We'll see how the Dutch and Team Japan played out in this final pair. So again, the time for the U.S. right now ranking second, 2:54.01. Canada still on top, but here are the Olympic runner-ups to the Canadians in Beijing. Team Japan. Takagi, Seto, Nowaki are the 3 on the ice. Buna, Rittman Young, and Dool out there for the Netherlands. The world number 1 and the 2-time defending world champs. But only a bronze in Beijing. They have their sights set on the top of the podium in Italy. Buna will be at the front, as well as Takagi for Japan. So away we go, final pair. World Cup in Salt Lake City. And what we saw from the Americans in the last pair for about the first, 2.5 laps, they were able to either be even with or slightly ahead of the Canadians. Now we'll see how long those numbers are green for the Dutch and Japan in this final pair. Japan going out awfully quickly. Again, Japan over the last 3 world championships, silver to the Dutch, bronze to the Dutch, silver to the Canadians. And again, silver to the Canadians in Beijing at the Olympics. And Japan still firing early. Both squads out sub 1 minute. Now it was right around the 3-lap mark is where Team Canada found an extra gear. We have 3 laps to go, and we'll watch now the numbers. Japan and the Dutch are still out ahead of the Canadians halfway home. Now, are they able to build on that number or start to give some time back? They each give some time back. The Dutch are gaining on the Japanese here. This is 2 100s separating between the Dutch and Team Japan. And the Dutch are beginning to find an extra gear. They, for the first time, go ahead of Japan with 2 laps to go. Both times, though, still ahead of Team Canada. Boona leads the way for the Dutch. This is going to be tight across the line. There's the bell. It is still the Dutch. 600ths ahead of Japan into the final lap. They're both on top of Team Canada. And this is going to be a match race, but falling off the pace, that's Elisa Dool back in the yellow for the Dutch. That could be costly. And the Dutch have fallen well off of the pace now. And it's Japan or Canada around the final corner. 2:52.39, the time to beat for Japan, set by Canada. And across the line, Japan will take it down. And the dislodging of Elisa Dool, very costly to the Dutch. Japan will take World Cup gold. Canada will finish second, and the United States will finish in third with the bronze. So Japan, we delineated their kind of runner-up fortunes over the last several years. Runner-up of the world to the Dutch. Runner-up in 23 to the Canadians. Runner-up at the Olympics to Team Canada. Well, they're on top of the podium here in Salt Lake City. And meanwhile, for the Dutch, they were primed and in position to win it. We'll see if we get a shot of what exactly happened with Elisa Dool at the back of the Dutch, as she was pried away from her team. And there we see the emotions on the infield for Team USA overcome. They will be on the podium, Bo, Manganello, and Myers. Wow, look at the emotion from Brittany Bowe of the United States. Goodness. On the home ice here in Salt Lake, still incredibly meaningful as they're maybe on the ice for one of the final times here in Salt Lake City. Here are the results. The Dutch, with that big mistake in the final lap, drops all the way down to 5th. Japan wins the women's team's pursuit. Canada the silver and the bronze to the U.S. And one thing to note, that time from Kazakhstan, as I mentioned, 2:57.81. That's 7th had they been here in the A division. Oh, what a reaction by Team USA. They will be on the podium here in Salt Lake City. Still didn't really get a shot at what happened with the Dutch squad down the stretch, but they are your winners, the gold medalists. Miho Takagi, Ayala Sato, Ahara Noake. Getting it done for Japan, 2:52.13. And thrilled on the infield as they delace their boots. And what will the future hold a few months from now? How much confidence does that bring those three heading through the rest of the World Cup and on their way to the Olympics? That is a big, big moment for those three Japanese skaters. The debriefing begins. Haven't seen any shots of the Dutch trio, though, to get their reaction. Men's team pursuit is on the way. Zambonis are on the ice, so stick around. It is the final day at the Utah Olympic Oval in Salt Lake City. Japan wins the women's team pursuit. We'll switch over to the men's team pursuit when we come back. Don't go anywhere. Back inside the Utah Olympic Oval, where Japan just won the team pursuit on the women's side. Now we move over to the men four pair. We'll kick things off with the French and Team Belgium. And there at the front in the white armband, he's now become a household name in the world of speed skating. Timothy Lubino on this ice for the first time since he set the 5,000-meter world record back on Friday. By the way, they've already changed the nameplate here inside the venue to reflect the new world record. And there's Team Belgium, highlighted by Bart Swings, the Olympic champion.
Go to the start.
8 laps. Men's team pursuits.
Ready.
Bart Swings in the white armband, Lubino in the white armband. We will see these two on the ice a little bit later on in Swings and Lubino's really kind of marquee event, the mass start. That'll close things down. Really interested to see how Jordan Stoltz of the United States fares in the mass start as well. That'll be our final event here today. So off we go. Belgium, the number 7 ranked team pursuit squad coming out of last World Cup campaign. Swings, Medard, Voste, and France with Lubino, Thibault, and Deschamps. Again, the B division for the men's team pursuit was held earlier today. Germany came out on top there, 3:39.17 with Becker, Meili, and Petzold. But here on this ice, this is where the world record was set almost 2 years ago, just short of it, set by Team USA. And the 3 who set that world record will be in the final pair. Casey Dawson, Emery Lehman, Ethan Sepiran. 3:33.66. They're the world champions as well. Last year across the World Cup campaign, the United States was on the podium in all 3, as were the Italians. The U.S. a couple of golds and 1 silver. The other gold belonged to the Italians, and 2 silvers for Team Italy. Norway was on the podium twice with bronzes, and the Dutch grabbed the other bronze. So that's how it played out a year ago. The World Championship podium was the U.S., Italy, and the Dutch. 4 laps to go, halfway through. And France right now about 2 seconds on top of Belgium here in this opening pair. Really anxious to watch how Lubino fares in the mass start. I mean, that has been kind of his breakthrough events in the last calendar year. One kind of, I won't call it a gimmick win last year when he had the breakaway midway through that mass start for the win. That's kind of when his name began to be uttered a bit more across the speed skating world. But then he came back a couple of weeks later, won another mass start in a different style. But at the distance races, really a non-factor, but that has all changed. As we hear the bell, France on top. And the Belgians struggling as they now hear the bell, well behind Team France. Coming around the final corner. Lubino leading the way. Thibault and Deschamps will spread across the ice. And here come the French to the line. They will set the target number of 3:37.97. And now the Belgians come home with a disappointing 3:48 and change. So 3:37.97 the time for France. Again, the world record is 3:33.66, so about 4 seconds off of that pace. See the back right there. Deschamps trying to hold on, stayed in touch with Thibault in the middle. And the reaction, yeah, Lubino happy. And we'll see Lubino a little bit later on. Look at them in the background. They are exhausted, are they not? Lying on their backs, down to their hands, elbows, and knees. Laid it all on the line. Second pair, Sasaki Yamada Rito for Japan.
Go to the
And
start.
Team China with Liu, Wu, and Ning.
Ready.
Liu and Sasaki at the head of the line for China and Japan here in the second pair. The defending Olympic champions are on deck as Norway. And they will have only one of their returning skaters from that Olympic gold squad as they head now toward Italy. Eitram, Konsog, and Strand are the three for Norway. For the U.S. team, intact. That's what we've seen over the last couple of years, and they are getting better and better as the events and as the years go by. 44-66. China now about 0.8 of a second on top as a quick half lap. Thrust the Chinese out ahead of Japan in this second pair. Coming up on 5 laps to go. 1:23.54, better than a second ahead of the pace set by France. It's been an interesting kind of test case over the course of the weekend for the levels of training, where these athletes are in certain events. Are they wanting to really rip a number and go after a world record? Seen a ton of personal bests, over 250 by these athletes this weekend. But curious on this ice with Team USA when we see them here in a few minutes. Will Dawson, Lehman, Sephiroth, are they feeling like they want to take a shot at another world record that they set on this ice about 2 years ago? Because when those three are on, when they are on time and in rhythm in this race, there's no team better in the world than those three. And they also might be wanting to try and back up their world championship from March, which was about 2 months after that they set that world record right here. China about a second and a half ahead of the French with 2 laps to go. Now Liu at the front for the Chinese, only 19 years old. He's a new member to their team pursuit squad. And they hear the bell. And China, 1.6 seconds ahead. So they're looking at a low 3:36 if they can hold on to their form. And China coming around that last corner. Here they come. 3:37.97 is the number thrown down by France. And here come the Chinese across. There it is, 3:36.65. Oh, they love it. They love it. As this team gets kind of re-put back together with Liu, Wu, and Ning. They have just put down a very solid number here in the opening World Cup. And it's just easy to tell by the reactions. I mean, they tell the entire story. Again, we're not embedded with all these different programs. We don't know what the training has looked like, what kind of times they've thrown down in practice, what they're ramping up to trying to achieve in a day like today. But you watch these 3 Chinese skaters coming across the line, and look at the reaction across the ice. They're looking up at the time. They see the number, yeah. I mean, that tells me that's a better number than they expected to put down here in Salt Lake City. Tells a lot. And a similar reaction to what we saw from the French athletes a few minutes ago, crawling off of the ice to the infield. All right, pair 3. The world bronze medalists from last year. There they are, Huizinga, Snellick, and company for the Dutch.
Starting in pair 3, and across between the far side and the Netherlands, Chris Huizinga, Bo Snellick, and Tjerk de Boer.
Tjerk de Boer is in the blue armband in the back. So Marcel Bosker is a reserve, and there is Norway. Eitram, Konsog, and Strand. The
Go
Dutch,
to the start.
the defending Olympic champions. But only Konsog returns.
Ready.
So off we go. Konsog is in the red armband. Sander Eitram is in the white. He will lead things off for Norway. Again, Norway not on the world podium last year, but again, it was Angerbrotten, Pedersen, and Konsog. Those were the 3 in Beijing that claimed the gold medal at the Olympics. And only Peter Konsog returns. So Didrik Engstrand, he's in the yellow. Sander Eitram, we've seen him burst onto the scene over the last year and a half at the World Cup level. Eitram took bronze in the 5,000 meter back on Friday. Eitram is in the white, the head of the trio for the Norwegians. A 1/10 of a second up, a couple of laps in. And the Dutch are already a couple of seconds off the pace. Norway had been on the world podium up until last year, the last couple of years. 23 finished bronze, 2024 finished silver to the Italians, but off of the podium last year. You get a thumbs up from the coaching staff on the ice for Team Norway. 136.38. Nearly 4/10 ahead of Team China. 4 laps to go. Exactly a half-second lead for Norway. The U.S. and Italy, the final pair, waiting on deck. China put down a terrific time. And Norway 7/10 of a second ahead of that, with 1 pair to come. And when Norway crosses the line here, they will have 2 laps to go. And we'll check the time, 2:41.83. They slightly increase their lead. The Dutch right now almost 3 seconds back. 1 more thumbs up. Lap and a half to go. And there's the form a little loose for the Dutch. Now let's check on the straight on camera of Norway as they hear the bell. They're nearly a second up. They continue to tack on about 1/10 to 2/10 every lap on their lead over the time set down by China. 3:36.65 is the established lead time for China. Norway is going to beat that. Looking at maybe a 3:35.5. Here comes Eitrim and company to the line, and that's right where it is. 3:35.21. They kicked it in that final 400 meters. 3:35.21 for Norway. China's second. France dropped down to third. One pair remaining. See the final corner barreling home. Eitrim and his teammates. Eitrim led the way. Kind of a muted reaction for the Norwegians there, especially compared to what we saw from China and France earlier. And now to the final pair. The Italians. Giotto, Malfatti, Giovannini. The world champs in 24, silver to the Americans last year. And there are the world record holders in this building, January 27th of 2024. Casey Dawson, Emery Lehman, Ethan Sepperon. The world champions back in March. Will they go for it today? My gut is telling me yes.
Ready.
Let's find out. So away we go. There's the Americans. Casey Dawson at the head of the pack for the U.S. As Davide Giotto leading the way for the Italians. These two teams combined to sweep all 3 golds of the World Cup last year. And the U.S. took down Italy at the World Championships. The roar of the crowd deafening after 1 lap. And the U.S. flies out in 30.93. .12.77 on that half lap for the U.S., and they are absolutely floating. 56.43 for the U.S. I'm pulling up this splits. 122.06 for the U.S. That is 77 hundredths faster than their split when they set the world record. So they are indeed going for it. They're a second and a half clear already of the field. Dawson, Lehman, and Sepper are going after it here today in Salt Lake once again. A 1:47.85. They're about 8 tenths faster than world record pace. And almost 2 seconds ahead of the Italians and spilling down. That's Malfatti on the ice for Italy. And now it's truly just the Americans on the ice. A 2:13.65. They're still about 8 tenths ahead of world record pace. And look at that connection between Dawson, Lehman, and Sepperon. And the United States going after a world record that they set almost 2 years ago. Let's check the time as they cross 2:39.58. They're still about 8 tenths of a second ahead of their own world record pace inside the final 2 laps. The focus, the determination, the unison of these 3. Let's check the time as the U.S. reaches the penultimate lap. 3:06.71 is where they were with 1 lap to go, and they set the record. They're 3:05.79. 1 lap to go as the United States trio of Casey Dawson, Emery Lehman, and Ethan Sepperon are trying to skate one more time into speed skating team pursuit history. Coming around the final corner, 3:33.66 is their world record. Is it going down? They fan across the ice. Here come the Americans. 3:32.49. A world record for the United States. They lower their own by over a second. History in Salt Lake City once again for Casey Dawson, Emery Lehman, and Ethan Sepperon. The question at the outset of the race, would they go for it? An emphatic, yes, we are. And yes, they did. And the person responsible for changing out the world record times on the wall of the Utah Olympic Oval is getting back to work. The Americans lower their own world record by 1.12 seconds here on the fastest ice on Earth. Meanwhile, here's what happened with the Italians at the back. It's Malfatti stumbling and going down. And it was only a matter of if the Americans could render the world record their own. Oh, man. Gauntlet dropped for the reigning world champions. They have their sights on not a world championship. Their sights are fixated on Olympic gold. What a first performance of this Olympic year for Team USA. The Chinese on the podium, by the way, they will win bronze. Liu, Wu, and Ning. Norway, silver. But Casey Dawson in the United States to the top of the podium. I can't repeat what Dawson has said to his teammates, but they're pretty excited about it.
I was like, bro, are we just chilling right now? Yeah. I was like, there's only they're coming on last corner. I was like,
Did you hear Sepperon right there? He said, are we just chilling right now? They're talking about how easy that came, how fluid those 3 minutes and 32 seconds were. And there is the second world record we've seen in Salt Lake City this weekend. Team USA, Casey Dawson, Emery Lehman, Ethan Sepperon, a world record of the men's team pursuit.
Shot.
The U.S. takes gold. Norway silver, China the bronze. We're still just getting started on this final day in Salt Lake City. When we come back, though, after they refurbish the ice, the second running of the 500 meters, Femke Koch will try to double up on gold. Jordan Stoltz will try to win his fourth gold of this World Cup weekend. We'll have all of that, and the mass start will be the curtain dropper when we come back to Salt Lake City. A world record for Team USA and family. Don't go anywhere.
And it just stayed there the whole time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Presenting the gifts. Third place, representing the United States of America, Team USA in third. Team USA, the winner of the bronze medal.
Thanks, man.
Great job, you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Should we all get the card? We should.
And in second, your silver medal winning team, representing Team Canada.
Got a bad wind stress.
And your gold medal winning team for the pursuit, Team Japan. first place. Gold medalist in the men's match start champions with a new world record, Team USA.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
咱那胳膊能崴着。
Congratulations to our top team finishers. Okay, you guys. I got three.
Back inside the Utah Olympic Oval in Salt Lake City. A look at the women's 500-meter World Cup standings after the first 500 we raced yesterday. Femke Kok of the Netherlands took it down. Aaron Jackson, the silver. Yoshida from Japan, the bronze. We'll see all three of those skaters here today. There's a look at the start list. Kok and Jackson will go heads up in the final pair. Joe McNogal and Leardom in pair number 8. So off we go. Second running of the 500 up from the B division from yesterday. Pei Chong, 28-year-old from China, part of a gold medal winning team of the team sprints at the Four Continents for China. And Yori Kitahara from Japan, also up from the B division, finished third yesterday. Here she is now in the A. Maybe little nerves for Kitahara.
Hold start. Alternate. No stable position. Go to the start. Ready.
Clean start, and off we go. Each of these skaters were in the high 37s yesterday in their 500. 3 were promoted from the B division. We'll see The winner of the B from yesterday, Chen Ying Chu from Taipei, coming up in pair number 4. We've seen 2 world records already this weekend in Salt Lake City, one just a moment ago in the men's team pursuit. The longest standing world record of an Olympic event could be challenged here a little bit later on as we see Pei come across in 37.84. 300s slower than what she was yesterday. Lee Sang-woo of Korea has held the women's 500-meter world record for over 12 years now. As a matter of fact, 12 years to the day, right here in Salt Lake City, 36.36. We saw Femke Kolk yesterday, a personal best. She buzzed the tower, only 12 100ths away from that world record. We'll see Femke Kolk in the final pair, matched up against the reigning Olympic champion, Erin Jackson. So pair 1 in the books. There's the Moscow native, Kristina Silyeva, now racing for Kazakhstan. And Kim Min-sun from Korea, world bronze back in March in the 500 behind Femke Kolk and Jutta Leerdam. She was silver at the Worlds in the 500 2 years ago. So here she is in the second pair, finished just 17th yesterday. She will start in the outer. Kim on the left side of your screen. We'll see what kind of form that she's in less than 24 hours after what she raced yesterday. 10:54. That's a little bit faster than yesterday. Silyeva matched her opener time from 24 hours ago. Final corner. Kim will fire through on the inner. Swing both arms, drive for the line. This is tight. And it will be Silyeva, 37.36. 1300s faster than yesterday, and there's the new lead after 2 pairs for Silyeva. Silyeva, 16th place finish yesterday. Only skater from Kazakhstan in this A division of the 500. So 2 down, 8 pairs to go. And we'll see right there from Germany, 23-year-old Sophie Warmuth, 2-time bronze at the World Junior Championships and the World Cup of this distance. Finished 14th yesterday. And Martina Baran of Poland, 13th a couple of years ago at the World Championships in the 500. She's 24 years old. Each of these skaters in the 37.4 range yesterday. Driving on the outside off the line is Baran of Poland. Now they get into their strokes. 10:42 for Baran, 1400s better than yesterday. The fastest opener yesterday was Femke Kolk in 10:27. When Lee set her world record, her opener was 10:09. Kolk also had the fastest full lap of any of the competitors. And Baran, 37.26, the new leader in the clubhouse. So Baran lowers her time by 18 100ths from yesterday. And you're looking for that kind of nominal improvement in this 500-meter race. You can't drop down by 4 or 5 tenths. It's usually a tenth or a few hundreds. Margins are thin to this 500. And there is Martina Baran in front after 3 pairs. One of the top youngsters we saw on the senior circuit last year, Angel Alleman of the Netherlands. 2023 junior world champion. She was the youngest ever world champion at 15 years and about 300 days to repeat it as world champion the following year. And Chen Ying Chu out of Taipei, who won the B division yesterday.
Go to the start.
Up to the A division today against one of the rising skaters in the game.
Ready.
Chen is 30 years old, Dalaman is 18. So Dalaman won a world championship a few months ago, the team sprint for the Netherlands. Dalaman finished 13th yesterday. Some work to do here to track down Chen. Chen on the inner will just pip her by 2/100ths. 37.40 for Chen, 37.42 for Dalaman. That matches her time from yesterday. Chen drops by 38/100ths, but Baran still in front. So 4 pairs in. Martina Baran of Poland, still your leader. 37.26, still to the good, but again, Koch's time yesterday was 36.48. Only 3 skaters went sub 37. So here's Lee Na-hoon, 19-year-old out of Seoul. Won 4 medals at the Asian Winter Games back in the spring, couple of golds. Tian Runin, Olympian from China.
Go to the start.
Each of these skaters finished just outside the top 10 yesterday.
Ready.
Fifth pair, off we go. Lee on the right side of your screen there is Tian. A 10:36 for Tian. 1100 faster than yesterday. Now can she carry the speed into the full lap? Hairpinning out of the final corner. Straightening out. Lee on the left, Tian on the inside. Tian losing some ground. A nice finish by Lee Na-hoon, 37.03. That's your new leader. She nearly goes under 37. Drops by over 3/10 from her time yesterday. And again, only Yoshida, Jackson, and Koch were below 37 seconds yesterday. As we see Lee right around that last corner go right past Aaron Jackson, who's on the infield. 37.03 for Lee. That's an excellent time. I mean, that would have finished 4th yesterday. It's a big improvement for the 19-year-old. So halfway through the women's 500 meters. There's Beatrice Lamarche, first World Cup individual podium 2 days ago. Took bronze in the 1,000. Her dad, a 2-time Olympic speed skater. And here is Anzelika Wojcik out of Poland on the 500-meter podium several times last year. 3 bronze, 2 silvers. 10th place finish yesterday.
Ready.
So off we go. We'll check the opener times for Lamarche and Wojcik. 10:39 for Wojcik, a little bit faster than what she was yesterday. And Wojcik on the crossover to the outer. Lamarche and Wojcik. Here they come. Lamarche on the left side of your screen. Wojcik to the line and 37-32 for Wojcik, 37-33 for LaMarche. And Lee still holds the lead with 4 pairs to go. Third position right now for Wojcik with a 37-32. Eight skaters to go. Pair 7. Anna Boersma of the Netherlands. Her first World Cup experience this weekend in Salt Lake City. 7th place finish yesterday. And had one of the faster openers of any of the skaters, 10:33. Serena Perger holds the Italian national record of the 500. She set that yesterday, 37:29. An 8th place finish. But only Koch and Zsomek Nogal were faster in the opening 100 meters than Boersma. A little stumble there by Boersma, regains her footing. That'll cost her some time. Again, she was 10:33 yesterday, and she's going to come in 10:37. So a little bit slower, but a slippery start. Now can Boersma find the speed and find the time? Lee still sits atop the table, 37:03. Boersma and Perger. Boersma striding ahead, not quite fast enough though. Good for second with 6 skaters to go, 37:11. So despite the sluggish start there by Boersma, 1600s fast. That gives you an idea what kind of raw speed she has. Let's watch the start here on the right side of your screen. Little near fall right there. Had to really fight to keep her balance and avoid from going down. Boy, how fast would she have gone with a clean start? Still finishes 37:11, second position. That's a personal best. Yep. Yeah. He knows there's more there. There's a better time there. But second position. And I believe we're taking a slight break here. They may have coming out to repair some ice. That's what it is. They made a 2-minute announcement to kind of let Leardom and Yoshida and Calkin Jackson and the other competitors know that we'll have a slight delay. And is that right around the start line? That's right around where the stumbling took place, I believe, of Boersma a moment ago. And so Aaron Jackson and company to stay focused a little bit longer. Well, now is where we will really begin to see the very lightning fast openers from these skaters. Now, Jutta Leerdam opened at 10:65. That was one of the slower times, but Leerdam came in with one of the fastest full laps. That vaulted her to a 5th place finish. So we'll watch as Leerdam takes the ice next. Again, she'll be alongside Zsomek Nogal, who is almost always one of the fastest opening 100 meters in this 500-meter race. So perhaps that will pull Leerdam along with her, because if Leerdam can open in that low 10.5s, high 10.4s, then she'll have a real chance. I mean, she was silver medalist of the world to Femke Koch back in March. And she knows how that race yesterday felt where time was left on the ice. So I would imagine for Leerdam, it's all going to be about the first 100 meters here. Leerdam, the European sprint champ last year, gold in the 1,000 earlier in the weekend. There she is, Jutta Leerdam. And Kaya Zsomek Nogal, 2 World Cup 500 bronze late last year. 4th place finish yesterday in the 500. And she's going to go out in that 10.3 range. We'll see if Leerdam can improve on that 10.65. So let's watch the opening 100. As Leardom gets through the part of the ice that was just repaired, opens in the inner. Let's check the times. 10:28 for Zymek Nogal and a 10:62 for Leardom. That's nominally faster than yesterday. Coming around the corner, Zymek Nogal on the inner will finish. Leardom in those long flowing strides in the outer, and it's going to be Leardom, but only good for 37-36. Not even top 5 with 2 pairs to go. 6th place for Leardom, 14th at the moment for Zymek Nogal. And again, Nogal went out fast, faster than she was yesterday, but the last lap was the killer for her. 26.86 yesterday, and a little bit slower than that this time. And there is Lee, still holding on to the lead with 2 pairs left. Guaranteed a top 5 finish. With a little bit of help, she might find herself on the podium. The 19-year-old for Korean awaits. There's Merritt Flederis, junior world bronze at the 1,000 a few years ago. She's 24 now. And Yukino Yoshida, a couple of World Cup 500 golds very early last year.
Go to the start.
Bronze for Yoshida yesterday in the 500. She went 36.88.
Ready.
And Yoshida kind of right at the top of the charts in openers and the full laps yesterday. She was 10:39 yesterday. We'll see where Yoshida is here. 10:41, right at it. Flederis had a pretty big last lap. Not known for a lot of front-end speed, but she made up some ground to finish 6th with her final 400 meters. Yoshida tightly around the corner. Here she comes. 37.03 is Lee's time. Is Yoshida the first sub 37? No, and Lee is still in front. 37.06 for Yoshida. And now the 19-year-old from Korea, Lee Na-hoon, is guaranteed on the podium. We knew we'd have some surprises this weekend. Lubino in the 5K on Friday. Surprise from LaMarche, bronze in the women's 1,000. Surprise from Sonikov, bronze in the men's 1,500. We have another surprise here. Lee Na-hoon, 19-year-old from Korea. She's on the podium, guaranteed, in the lead. There's 1 pair left, and it is a heavyweight. Femke Kok, 3-time defending world champ of the 500. Already took gold yesterday. Buzzed the tower of a 12-year-old world record by Lee Sang-hwa. And there's Erin Jackson, the defending Olympic gold medalist. Silver yesterday. Practically fully healthy with a bulky back that's bothered her the last few years.
To the start.
It's Kok and Jackson. Final pair of the women's 500. Nobody has gone below 37 yet.
Ready.
Kok fastest off the line, fastest full lap yesterday. 10:09 was the opener in the world record race by Lee Sang-hwa. We'll see where Kok comes in. 10:19. Kok's 800s faster than yesterday. Lee came home in 26:27. Kok came home yesterday in 26:21. Here comes Femke Kok. The 12-year world record by Lee Sang-hwa holds in the balance. Femke Kok will finish in the outer. 36-36 is the number. Kok to the line. Has it! She has it! 36.09! World record! Femke Kok! The longest remaining world record in an Olympic race. 12 years to the day of Lee Sang-hwa's world record here in Salt Lake City. The 25-year-old from the Netherlands, Femke Kok, on November 16th, 2025. is the world record holder in the women's 500 meter. When you saw the opening time of the first 100 by Cook at 10:19, you knew there was a real possibility because Lee opened in 10:09, but Cook's full lap yesterday was faster than Lee's finish 12 years ago, and Cook was able to carry the speed, max it out, and skate into legendary status. 12 years exactly to the day of Lee Sang-hwa's world record here in Salt Lake City. Aaron Jackson, meanwhile, excellent race, 36.57, wins silver, but overshadowed by the Dutch three-time reigning world champion, Femke Kok. Goodness. Putting it all together in the skate of her life. Kok, Jackson, and Lee, gold, silver, bronze. And by the way, how about Lee Na-hyun? Everyone will remember Femke Kok for this world record. And again, the record had stood for 12 years. Who knows how long this one will last? Is it Femke Kok's for the next decade? Perhaps. Lee Na-hyun, meanwhile, on the podium as the second youngest competitor in this A-division field today. Only Dalaman is younger. She will finish with the bronze. The updated women's 500 standings. Kok and Jackson go gold, silver again. Yoshida finishes fourth today after a bronze yesterday. And Lee Na-hyun takes bronze. Let's catch our breath. Back-to-back world records on day 3 here in Salt Lake. And who knows, is there another one? Pavel Kralishnikov of the Russian Federation back in 2019 reset his own world record of 33.61. Jordan Stolz yesterday went 33.88. And it was not a perfect race for Stolz either. His opener was a little pedestrian by his standards. Let's see how this plays out. A look at the 10 pairs in the men's 500. Stolz will be in pair 9 opposite Magnuson. Yenin DeBow with something to prove here today after a disappointing performance yesterday. He'll be skating out of pair 6. I mean, is this fun? Right? Lubino, Team USA in the team pursuit. And now Femke Kok, 3 world records set here in Salt Lake City. All right, off we go. First pair, Piotr Michalski from Poland and Lian Xiwen, who was an Olympian from China in Beijing back in 2022, part of the World Championship team sprints in Hamar for China back in the spring. He's up from the B division. Michalski finished 17th yesterday.
Ready.
False start on Lian. I take it back on Michalski. I'll see the red flag out, see the white flag out as well. See what Moika Stoffel, our referee, will indicate. Matthew Vra is our starter for the men's 500.
False start, inner lane.
Charge against
Go to the
Michalski.
start.
Fair start, Michalski and Leon. Michalski, the veteran, goes out 9.85. Leon, the opener, 9.66. 1 of 3 from the B division yesterday to be upgraded to the A. Danish, Vestenbroek, and Stoppelmoor were relegated to the B division. Stoppelmoor finished 4th in the B earlier today. And to the line, Leon, 34-13. Best his time from yesterday by 13 100ths. Get across like the draw, the pair matchups here today. I mean, we will get to some big names with some excellent talent and pedigrees very early in this men's 500 meter. I mean, here's a great example. Evgeny Koshkin had a great finish to the World Cup season last year. Gold in Poland in the 500, gold in Herrenmain, a bronze in Herrenmain as well, the second running. Now, Koshkin had the fastest opener of anybody yesterday, 9.46. Kim, alongside, was the second fastest opener, 9.47. They're side by side. Now, Kim's opener was in the B division. He finished second, so he is upgraded here to the A, alongside Koshkin.
Ready.
Kim's been around the sport for a while, an Olympian back in Sochi back in 2014. He's 30 years old now. Now let's check the times. They're both upper 9.4s. A 9.38 for Koshkin. Uh-oh. I mean, we saw huge speed from Koshkin in the final couple of months of the World Cup season last year. Took the sprinters by surprise. Got on top of the podium twice. How does he look now with the fastest opening 100 meters of anybody on site all weekend? To the line, and it will be Koshkin, 33.68. And then a huge fall at the end by Kim Jong-ho. How about that? 33.68. That's 700ths off the world record.
Nice repair.
Now let's make sure Kim is okay. He was flying for the finish. And then we heard the noise of the crash against the padding by Kim. A camera was shaking because he went right into that sidewall, and he's hurt. Oh, let's hope he's all right. Looks like he tried to get up and stumbled off the ice. He lost his balance. He needs help. 33.68 for Koshkin. I mean, he nearly took down the world record in the second pair. So here's the finish. Kim came in 33.78. Down he goes. Oh, boy, Koshkin just got past him. And then heavy into the pads went Kim. I mean, all Kim was trying to do was get to that line. Lunging forward. Let's hope he is all right again. This is November of an Olympic year. The last thing you want to do is see this kind of speed from this type of veteran Olympian and perhaps have an injury that can alter the trajectory of his next 3 months. And there is Kim right on the side of the ice. Coaching staff, athletic training staff taking a look. Holy goodness, what a race that was from Evgeny Koshkin. I feel in the back of the head, the neck area for Kim. They will repair the ice. Well, a little bit of delay. They may need to get some assistance to help him off of the ice as well. Again, that was just Kim fighting for every hundredth of a second. Kind of lunging, leaning a bit forward toward the finish line. But when you're carrying that kind of speed with that type of determination, I mean, it's very easy to lose your balance, go down. And I'll tell you what, both Kim and Koshkin very lucky that they didn't connect as he slid across kind of shoulders and head first into the padding. Koshkin just did coast ahead of him before Well, it would have been awful contact from Kim. So they're feeling around the upper part of the neck. We will continue though. Pair 3. There's Tetsuya Shinhama. 4 World Cup podiums last year, including gold in Milwaukee. And Marin Kania, who took a bronze in Poland behind Koskinen and Laurent Dubray. Kania will start in the outer. I told you there was excellent talent very early here in this 10-pair layout. We just bore witness of that with Evgeny Koskinen and Kim Chun-ho. That might give Jordan Stoltz a little extra motivation, along with DeBow and a couple of others, that they may need to go world record time to win gold here today. Shinhama and Kanya straighten out. Kanya on the right side of your screen, and he's going to cross in 34.01. 34.30 for Shinhama. Seven pairs to go. Koskinen, I mean, that's a number. Will it go down? I mean, believe me, these skaters know when people ahead of them in pairs put down huge numbers. We've seen it a couple of times this weekend. Not that it kind of resets any strategy. You know we need to go hard here in the 500 anyway, but either A, that will tell them, boy, that's a big time, but it also can tell them there is speed out there on the ice today for me as well. Zhu Jiwen, 22-year-old who won the B division from China, and there's Cedric Brunet of Canada, 24-year-old who just began to focus on long track speed skating about 7 years ago. It kind of vacillated between hockey and short track and long track. Always wanted to play in the NHL for the Montreal Canadiens. Well, he's on the Salt Lake City ice. Finished 13th yesterday.
Ready.
Shui on the right side of the screen, won the B division yesterday to get a lane here in the A division on day 3 in Salt Lake. There he goes. A 9.53 for both Shui and Brunet. Again, Koskinen went out in 9.38 and came home in 24.29. Tight race here in pair 4. 33.87 for Shui. How about that? It's a big time. 34.06 for Brunet. He's thrilled. The screams are actually coming from the Canadian. A little more stoic reaction from Shui, but a huge weekend he has had. Won the B division at 33.95 yesterday. Comes in 33.87, back-to-back personal bests. Six pairs to go. And we'll start to kind of set up the story here because there might be another world record in the crosshairs here in the next few moments. Pavel Kalishnikov owns the 500-meter world record right now, established about 6 years ago here in this venue, 33.61. But he reset his own world record twice. He initially broke Jeremy Watherspoon's mark in 2015. Reset it again 5 days later, and then in 2019 here at the World Cup final, the number that still stands, 33.61. Yannick DeBow, 21-year-old. He has become one of Jordan Stoltz's chief foils. We will see him in pair 6. Joop Wennemars for the Dutch in the outside here in pair 5. And down goes Heroes, and it's Wennemars on the ice by himself coming around the corner. He went 34-33 yesterday. And He will slide to the inside, come to the line in 34-35. And another skater goes down. Heroes entering that final corner went down. I don't know if it was a technique issue or if it was an ice issue. They will certainly check. And Heroes is now up and will at least complete the race. Some applause from the fans, showing some grit to get back on the skates and finish. So Wenemar's at 34-35, currently 8th. And there's the stumble and fall. Didn't really look like an ice issue at all, more of a balance and technique issue right there. A hand went down, spun shoulder first into the pads. Wenemar's 34-35. There's Koshkin. Interested party in his race. How'd he look? Perhaps golden, nearly world record-ish. Pair 6, Martin Lieb, two-time Olympian from Estonia. Holds effectively almost all national records at every distance with the exception of the 10K. And here's Jenny DeBow, the equally young, equally talented rival of Jordan Stoltz. Defending world champion, but a disappointing finish yesterday, 10th for DeBow. A lot to prove here today.
Ready.
DeBow opened in 9.8 yesterday. Clearly needs to improve on that by a couple of tenths. And we'll check the time for DeBow. 9.62 by 1800s he improves. Now can he use that as fuel here for this lap? The crossover with Lieb in front. DeBow went 34-24 to win the World Championship last March over Stoltz and McLeod. He will come to the line here in 33-63. 33-63 for Yeti DeBow. 200ths off of Kalishnikov's world record. An 1800ths of a second improve on the opener led to a lightning bolt final 400 meters. And did he ever atone for what was, by his standards, a pretty terrible race yesterday? Nearly world record number for Yeni DeBow. He's in the lead, as they have downward revised Koshkin's number to 33.67 now. And it almost absolutely will take a world record to win today. Cooper McLeod, 7th place finish yesterday. World bronze in the 500 back in March. Matched up against the Canadian, the veteran, Laurent Dubray. World champion in the 500 in 2021. Was on the 500 podium 6 times last year. No golds, 4 silvers, 2 bronze. Oh, this ice is on fire.
Ready.
Meanwhile, DeBow just came home in 24.01. So here we go, McLeod and Dubray. The openers, very, very good. 9.58 for Dubray, 9.61 for McLeod. McLeod improves by 1,500 from yesterday. This could set him up. Cooper McLeod of the United States comes around the corner, flanked by Dubray. Dubray will slingshot ahead. Match race to the finish. 33.63 the leader, and it comes in 34.04 for McLeod. 34.05 for Dubray. And the speed at the front end of that race fizzled down the stretch. DeBow still in front. Well, you could hear it in the crowd, the build-up after the quick first 100 meters. Faded. 3 pairs to go. Jordan Stoltz of the United States is on deck. Good ovation for Cooper McLeod. There's DeBow. That's close to a world record. Pair 8, Olympic bronze medalist in Beijing. Wataru Moshige finished 4th yesterday, and here's the silver medalist from yesterday. He's finished runner-up twice to Jordan Stoltz this weekend in the 1,000 and the 500. Damian Zurek. Zurek had the fastest full lap of anybody yesterday, 24:17. If he can lower that opener, look out. He was 9.78.
Ready.
Off we go. Moshige, Zurek. Where will Zurek's time be? He got 9.78 yesterday. Zurek 9.69. Moshige 9.67. So Zurek about a 10th faster. What will that translate to? We've seen some enormous final full laps in this 500. DeBow came home in 24:01. Here comes Zurek. Here comes Moshige to the line. 33.93 for Zurek. 0.94 for Moshige. 5th and 6th overall with 2 pairs to go. So DeBow still best. Koshkin and Kim 2nd and 3rd positions. Podium spots for the moment, but Jordan Stoltz, who's had a perfect weekend in Salt Lake City, Mr. Everything in this sport the last 2.5 years. World champion 2 years in a row with the 500. Took silver last year. He fell ill, strep throat and pneumonia. He's won the 500, the 1,000, and the 1,500 this weekend, and just missed Kalishnikov's world record yesterday. He may need one today to win gold. Bjorn Magnussen, 27-year-old from Norway, will oppose. Stoltz opened in 9.57 and had the 3rd fastest full lap coming home. If he's in the 9.4s, we may see a 4th world record this weekend. Stoltz off the line. Magnussen will try to hang with him. The crowd already revving in Salt Lake City. Where is he at? 9.6, 300 slower than yesterday for Jordan Stoltz. Magnussen opens at 9.7. Well, Stoltz is known for the big last laps when he needs them. He needs one here to take down DeBow. If he does, it will break Kalishnikov's world record. Here comes Stoltz. Magnussen on the inside, driving down toward the finish. 33.61 the world record. Stoltz won't get there. He's off the podium. 33.79 for Jordan Stoltz. Yenning DeBow is a pair away from a World Cup gold and the closest to breaking Kalishnikov's world record since it was set 6 years ago. And it was the massive full lap of DeBow that even the superhuman Jordan Stoltz couldn't match. DeBow came home in 24:01. Stoltz came home in 24:19. That's the delta. 1 pair left. Koo Kyung-min, youngest in this men's 500 field, 20 years old from Korea, matching up against the Olympic gold medalist in Beijing, Yao Cheng-yu. Did not necessarily have a great World Cup season last year, but he's out very quickly this year. Bronze yesterday.
Go to the start.
One of the faster openers we saw, 9.49. Koo, though, put together a large full lap of 24-22. Only Zurich was faster yesterday in the final 400. And anxious Yenny Nebo will watch the final pair. 33.63, the number of Debo. Let's check the openers for Gao. He goes out 9.54, a hair slower than yesterday. And crashing out, that leaves only Gao on the ice as Ku goes down. So it's Gao Qingyu on the ice by himself around the corner. 33.63 is Debo's number. The world record 33.61. And Yenny Debo has claimed gold in Salt Lake City. With a near miss of the world record of Kalishnikov by 2/100ths. A 33.63, and atonement arrived for Yenny Nebo, who finished 10th yesterday in the 500. The defending world champion Yenny Nebo leaves no doubt on this final Sunday in Salt Lake City. And the crash out by the 20-year-old Ku into the pads. And Gao saw Ku flash right in front of him. Perhaps a bit of a distraction, but just the speed wasn't there for Gao. So the podium is this: Yenny Debo in 33.63. Yevgeny Koshkin silver, 33.67. And Kim Jun-ho, the 30-year-old from Korea, out of the second pair. He and Koshkin both out of that pair are on the podium. A bronze for Kim. And Debo had some fairly colorful quotes after his 500 performance yesterday. It's going to be a much more enjoyable presser for Yenny Debo today. And there's Ku Kyung-min making sure that he's all right after that crash in the final pair. We go back to Debo. A 9.62 opener for Debo, 1,800s faster than yesterday, but boy, did he get shot out of a cannon. That last 400 meters kind of, I think, snuck up on everybody. And when he crossed the line, I did a double take with his final time. I didn't have him projected quite that fast. But Yenny Debo, I mean, leaves no doubt. And Stoltz knew when he needed to throw down. But the opener really wasn't there for Stoltz, who will finish fourth. It was a 9.60 for Stoltz. He opened in 9.57 yesterday. And the last lap, again, normally kind of his calling card. His speed, energy really just wasn't quite there for Stoltz here today in the 500. Now we are scheduled to see Stoltz in the men's mass start, which is something he had some success at the junior levels a couple of years ago. And we'll see if Stoltz' effort here in the 500, maybe we'll see if he stays in the field or if he scratches out. Again, they're also trying to help out team Olympic quota spots.
Test shot.
So we'll see if Jordan Stoltz stays in the field in the men's mass start here coming up in about, a half hour or so. There are the official results. Debo, 2/100ths off of Kalishnikov's world record. 33.63 for gold. Koshkin, a 33.67. And Kim, a 33.78. 7 skaters go sub 34. Debo, Koshkin, and Kim, your podium in the men's 500. Stay tuned. One last set of events. The women's and men's mass start coming up. Scheduled about 15 minutes from now. Don't go anywhere.
Test shot.
Fans and guests, it is time now for the women's 500-meter ceremony here at Utah. Presenting the medals, Sean Escalay, ISU Vice President, Speed Skating, and presenting the gifts, Kate Johnson, Olympic rower. In third place, representing Korea, Na Hayu Lee. Second place, and silver, representing the United States of America, Aaron Jackson. In a first place, gold medalist and now world record holder for the women's 500 meters, representing the Netherlands, Femke Kok. Presenting world record President Chayol.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Together? Yes.
Your IQ Speed Skating Women's 500 winner. Okay, ladies, gentlemen, fans, and guests. It's now time for the men's 500-meter ceremony. Nick Thomas will be presenting the medals, chairman of the IU Technical Committee. We are honored to have our gifts presented by Eric Hayden, 5 times Olympic gold medalist. In third place, with the bronze medal representing Korea, Junho Kim.
Congratulations.
In second place. And your silver medalist, representing Kazakhstan, Evgeny Koshkin.
Congratulations. Awesome race.
First place, gold medalist for the men's 500 meter, your champion representing Netherlands, Jenning Debu.
Congratulations, man. Awesome race.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, man. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
The ISBC 500 meter winner.
Ready now for the final two events from the Utah Olympic Oval. It is the mass start. We'll start with the women, conclude with the men. And we will see a gaggle of skaters out here today, more than normal. We'll see a field, I believe, of 23. We had one scratch a couple of hours ago. But there's a look at the start list. Marika Hunevouts, who has been undeniably the queen of the mass starts over the last few years. And there are 23 official skaters here in the mass start. Li Manganello of the United States, Yang Bin-yu of China, Evany Blondin, who has been a runner-up at this event for so long and so many years. Francesca Lollobrigida, Greta Myers, who had a gold at the World Cup in Calgary in the mass start last year. Like, normally we see 20. This time we see 23. There were 4 upgrades from the B division of the mass start. 3 of the 4 are in the field. One, Golubeva of Kazakhstan, was a scratch. But first place, second place, third place of the B divisions all moved up, along with the most intermediate sprint points from the B division also heading up. But again, Golubeva was scratched, so 23 will be in the field here for the women. We will see 24 on the men's side. Well, there is Evany Blondin, world champion back in 2020, but world runner-up 5 times, and also the Olympic runner-up in Beijing. Manganello, a couple of podiums last year. Hunevouts of the Netherlands won 5 of the 6 mass starts last year. She's the defending world champ. And now the rest of the crew heads to the line. Again, when you look ahead to Milano Cortina coming up in just a couple of months for the mass start, maximum of 2 per country. So that's why this results, and over the next 3 World Cup events, matter for the mass start for those countries trying to max out the number of quota opportunities to skate.
Ready.
And off we go. Hunevout is in helmet number 1 right at the front of your screen. Greta Myers of the United States in 6. Li Manganello in number 2. And again, 23 skaters. Off we go, 16 laps. And we talk about what Hunevout has done over her career in this mass start. World champion last year, world bronze in 24, world champ in 23, world champ in 21. And then last year during the World Cup campaign, she won 5 of the 6 mass starts. So that is what we're looking at. The only mass start she didn't win was in Calgary. That was one where Greta Myers of the United States with Jin and Uhrig made up a very unexpected podium. So off we go. Women's mass start. Horikawa is in helmet number 22. Taylor Botte of Canada in helmet 8 right there on the left of your screen. Kirchhoff in helmet 20. So now we're in the first sprint lap in lap 4 of 16. There's the front 4, Horikawa, Botte, Kirchhoff, and Manganello of the United States. They will award sprint points at the conclusion of this 4th lap. That will be added to your total number of points, which could come into play in a different number of cases, right? Qualifying individually for the Olympics, and also to try and get max number of quota spots for your country. If we see Kirchhoff, Horikawa, and Botte. a sizable gap to the peloton on the chase. Lobos at the head of that mass group. But there are your four leaders. Miller Malte of Canada, Kirchhoff, Horikawa in helmet 22. And Manganello of the United States. A couple of bronzes last year in the Mass Start. Manganello darts to the inside, and looks like she wants to maybe take command of this one here, as they have almost caught up to the back portion of the peloton. So these four are trying to break away. No sense of urgency yet from the other 16, which includes, actually there's 19, which includes Hunebouts. Now they'll tap on the gas a bit. And there's Hunebaut toward the back of that pack in helmet 1. Yang Binyu also toward the back of that field. They got a little work to do. Lola Bridget, a little peek back. I mean, they're about 80% of the ice behind. There's Yang and Hunebaut right at the back. Those are the four leaders. And with these four, they're not expending a whole lot of energy, so they should be able to conserve fairly well. Horikawa now takes the lead. Labrija, helmet number 5. And way at the back of helmet 1, I mean, that's Hunebaut. She technically right now would be in, what, 22nd place. There's Malte. Right now she is controlling that force at the top. I mean, they're just serpentining along under no pressure, no heat at all from this gaggle of skaters. They are going to have to make a little bit of a move here fairly quickly. There's a lot of ice to recover. And there's Hunebaut now up in the front of that group along with Blondine and Lola Brigida. The top 3. They're taking some looks over their shoulder. They're going to have to press down the accelerator here fairly quickly. 16 lap race. There's not a lot of time left in this one, to be honest. But 5 laps, coming up on 4. And they're just coasting along. We'll have another sprint lap here. Look at Manganello kind of pushing Kirchhoff over to the side. They're kind of weaving around. So into lap 12, sprint lap. And has the lead been condensed a bit? Not a lot. That's her leading quartet. Malte at the front, Kirchhoff behind her. And Horikawa and Manganello. I mean, we know Manganello's personal history in this race. Oh, and a couple of skaters go down. Watch out. And a few tumble. I think that was Lobos of Norway who began the domino, taking out at least one other skater. This is lap 13 for the leaders. I mean, is there a push coming? There's the second group, and yeah, now it looks like they're starting to feel the urgency, but is it too late? I mean, there has not been a potential breakaway from that big peloton trailing those 4 skaters in the entirety of this race. Malte, Kirchhoff, Manganello, and Horikawa, those are the 4. 2 more laps to go. This may not happen. There's Yang Bin-yu at the very back of the field. And more sprint points accumulate for those 3. Look at Valerie Monte. She's saying this is like an exhibition right now. It's like they're just getting their off-day ice work in. I mean, it's got to start soon, and now they begin to kind of push away, but there are the 4 leaders. They reach the bell lap. This is going to be their race to win, and it's Mia Manganello of the United States bursting in front. The other 3 on the chase. Manganello down the straights. Malte trying to catch her around the corner is Mia Manganello. Here comes Malte. Manganello firmly swinging the arms. Malte to the outside. Kirchhoff making a move. It's Mia Manganello and Malte. And it looks like clockwise Malte got there. That group of 4 separated about 4 laps into this race, and we're never tested. And we'll wait and see the official results, but it looks like Malte did pip her. And looking at my numbers, Manganello finishing 4th, Kirchhoff 2nd, Horikawa 3rd, and here's the rest of the group. And there's the look. Mia Manganello. There's Malte. What a bizarre race this was. The group of 19 never challenged. It was Manganello, Kirchhoff, Horikawa, and Malte. And Manganello celebrates with the crew. And we're waiting the official results. There's the fall, meanwhile, about mid-race by Aurora Grindellovas of Norway. And that also seemed like it took out Birzik of Poland as well. Number 10 goes down. Here's the finish. Again, these are the 4 leaders. Mia Manganello and Malte. And still awaiting the official results, because the results screen that I'm looking at basically has most of that peloton behind the front 4 at the top of the leaderboard. So something is amiss as far as the results go, which is probably why we haven't seen anything yet on the screen. And we'll wait and see how it looks. Now again, they want to make sure that everybody skated the appropriate number of laps and make sure everybody got 16 in. But again, the leaderboard I'm looking at right now has Park Ji-woo on top. That's evidently what this discussion is right here. Did somebody miscount the number of laps for the lead 4? Because what I'm seeing on my screen, which I believe is incorrect, is Park Ji-woo, Emily Blondin, and Fran Van Hout 1, 2, 3, but they were in that back group of 19. The front 4 we had been watching the entire way. Again, they broke away with that initial sprint lap. They have them further down the standings. As a matter of fact, they have Manganello right now finishing 21st, which would indicate to me that there might be a lap counting issue or mistake from the officials. Now, Manganello knows exactly how many laps that she raced, but the officials, the referee, Susan Sandvik-Shobi of the United States, Oh Young-suk of Korea is the starter. They're going to make sure they get things squared away here. that is why we haven't seen anything on the screen as far as any official results. So there are the four. And you can see right there with the laps to come. You see Manganello holding up 2 fingers as she went by that digital readout saying 3 laps left. That almost tells me that the lap counter had the wrong number of laps for that front 4. That was a really interesting shot because Manganello at the back of that foursome held up 2 fingers and was looking over toward the area where that digital display of how many laps remained. Manganello held up 2 fingers while the screen showed 3. So that might be the discrepancy. But again, as I'm looking at the unofficial results on the website, Manganello is listed as 21st. Malte is listed as an 8th place finish. Kirchhoff 6th, Horikawa 7th. But again, those were the 4 in that front group. And that's why we saw the ensuing discussion between all the officials here, checking on, hey, whose responsibility for counting the number of laps for all of the skaters, who's right, who's wrong. And as a result, we do not have anything official yet from Salt Lake City. But even as the officials discuss this in a very somber tone, Manganello is smiling ear to ear. I mean, she knows how many laps that she raced, along with the other 3 at the front side. I don't think there's an iota of doubt in Manganello's mind or the other 3 that they skated all 16 laps. I think this is a counting issue. I think there was very likely a mistake by one of the officials whose responsibility was to monitor number of laps completed by these skaters. So we may be here for a few more minutes. And this, I'm sure, would be a case where they're talking with all the officials. What did you have? What did you see? And then very likely going back to the video playback to make sure that they get the results of this race 100% accurate. Why? It's obvious, right? This is an Olympic year. Points matter, rankings matter, countries' quotas for the Olympics matter. This has to be right. And so if it takes a few extra moments to make sure that these officials get it right, that's what it will take.
When that felt bad, because like we were spinning all the way. It's just like 1 to go. Yeah, here, so we see the line, and it's just like 1 to go.
And there we have the discussion on the infield with Manganello and some of the competitors.
So sorry. That sucks.
And now there you see the 2 fingers from Manganello. She's pointing over to the official who's there. That digital readout of laps remaining. We're going to see it right here. The digital readout says 3. Manganello puts out 2 fingers that said 2, right? Not 3, because they're the leaders. That was where the discrepancy, I think, was finally maybe realized by the officials. And that also might be a reason why we didn't see the big peloton of 19 skaters behind them make a move. I mean, perhaps they were so zoned in on the race that they maybe felt like, who knows, maybe they felt like they were on the lead lap. There we get a whistle blown by Susan Sandvik-Schobe. And let's wait on the resolution of this. Boy, you hate to have some type of issue like this in a race so important for everybody on the ice. And meanwhile, there is Jordan Stahls. He is going to come out for the men's mass start. So they will warm up on the ice. Stoltz will wear a helmet number 19. He won bronze at the World Junior Championships back in 2023 behind Lucas Steckley of Czechia and Daniel Hall of Canada. We saw Hall race earlier this weekend. So there's a little bit of history for Jordan Stoltz. in the mass start. That's Zilik from Czechia. He won the World Junior Championship mass start just last year. We'll see Zilik in helmet 14 here in this men's mass start. And of course, all the favorites: Bart Swings, Jort Bergsma, Andrea Giovannini, and Timothy Lubino. So the men's skaters are on the ice. Again, haven't seen any update on the website. I haven't seen any graphics on the screen about any resolution or official standings. It might take a little bit of time to figure it out. Maybe that's why they're going to proceed with the men's race and then go back and ensure that they have the women's mass start fully audited. So if we do get an update, we'll pass that along as the skaters are on the ice for the men's mass start. Eavesdropping into Manganello when she was sitting down next to one of the other racers as they discussed what was going on. Paraphrasing, you could hear Manganello say after she heard the explanation from one of the other skaters not in that front four group, she's like, well, that stinks, right? Because perhaps the issue in terms of the countdown of laps impacted race strategy for some, if not all, of the group behind. There's the start list. Zilik will be in helmet 14. Jordan Stahl's in helmet 19. There will be 24 in this race. Jake Weideman up from the B division. Again, 4 were promoted from the B division mass start earlier today. Cho, Weideman, Zhao, and Philip Douay-Schmidt. So the men are on the ice. The results for the women's mass start are still pending. That seemed to have sucked the air right out of the arena. So the men are on the ice. Andrea Giovannini, defending world champ. Bart Hoerf. 3 podiums last year at the mass start. Gold in Beijing. Here's Lubino. Everybody knows who he is now. Set the 5,000 meter world record on Friday night. 2 golds in the mass start last year. Here's Bart Swings, the defending Olympic champion, who has been a stalwart to the mass start for a half a decade. Indra Medard of Belgium. A couple of podiums last year. Here's the 39-year-old Jort Bergsma. Took gold in Milwaukee. Olympic gold medalist in Sochi at the 10K. And the rest of the crew. Fritjof Petzold was on the podium last year, silver in Calgary. And to Bellois, bronze in Milwaukee. He's in helmet 10. Daniel Di Stefano, who oftentimes is the partner in crime on the ice with Giovanni. Di Stefano in helmet 7. Again, Zilik is in helmet 14. Jordan Stoltz of the United States is in 19. And Jeleno Ballio from Canada, helmet 20. He won silver at the Worlds in 24.
Ready.
So off we go. 16 laps in the men's mass start final event in this opening World Cup event in Salt Lake City. Thank you for tuning in across the weekend. And the 2 Italians out to the front, no surprise. Giovannini, Di Stefano. Jordan Stoltz right there, helmet 19. Curious to see how he approaches this race. Stoltz off the podium in the 500 meters earlier today, but 3 golds in the 500 race yesterday, the 1,000 and the 1,500. He has booked a beautiful weekend in Salt Lake. take a look at what Bart Swings has accomplished in the mass start. 4 straight world podiums, bronze last year. World champion back-to-back years, 23 and 24. Bronze in 21 in the run-up to Beijing. And then he won the Olympic gold over Chung and Lee in Beijing. Swings in helmet number 4, center of your screen. And there is Victor Thorup, now skating for Denmark. He's in helmet 16. Lubino, a couple of goals last year at the World Cup in the mass start in 2 different strategies. One was an early race breakaway all by himself and was never challenged. That appears to be what Thorpe is endeavoring to do, although he is not really going full throttle after it. He's trying to maybe claim the sprint lap points here. Little peek over his shoulder. And there is Di Stefano, first one around the corner in helmet 7. Now Stoltz is the only American in this race. That might be why he's also out there to try and get some points for the USA as far as quota spots for the mass start. Looking ahead to Italy. Gielik in helmet 14 on the leaderboard. He's the world junior champion at the mass start just last year. Gielik of silver in the 5K earlier this weekend. They have caught up to Thorpe, and it's Lubino in helmet 3 striding forward to the lead. And now, after what Lubino was able to do last year, and then on the heels what he did just 48 hours ago, nobody dare lose sight of helmet 3. Into lap 7. Richard Petzold, who's on the podium once last year, joined by Gabriel Odor from Austria. Those are the front 2. Out of the second sprint lap. Lap number 8. Thor picked up 3 points the first sprint lap. Di Stefano 2. Swings got the other. And so now whoever is first, second, and third at the conclusion of lap 8 will pick up either 3 points, 2 points, or 1. They'll do it again in lap 12. Odor in 11. He will claim the 3. Petzold will get 2. And Livio Wenger from Switzerland will pick up 1 point. Now they will rise up in the front, slow down the pace a bit, and get some company. Jorrit Bergsma now toward the head of the pack in helmet 6. The ageless Dutch wonder who will turn 40 years old a couple of weeks before the Olympics begin in February. He won a mass start last season at the age of 39. Jake Weideman, Isabel Weideman's brother, promoted from the B Division mass start earlier today. He's in helmet 22, so he's up with the lead skaters. Jelena Abellio, number 20. And there is Bergsma carving out the lead. About what, 8 or 9 kind of tethered together, and then back to another 13 or 14 skaters about to come around that back corner. So there's about, what, 150 meters or so in between. Lap number 12. 3 more points on the line for the leader of this lap. Wenger. Jelena below. Bergsma right now 3rd. And they will come around the corner here. Bergsma sneaks inside. And is Bergsma going to pick up these 3 points? He will. Weidman will get 2. Jelena Abellio will pick up the other. Inside 4 laps to go. And with the majority of the skaters, they're about the same distance away as what we saw in the women's mass start a moment ago. Now there are, 6 skaters right here at the head of the snake. Bergsma right now third. Jake Weideman running in front. Jelena below, also of Canada, seconds. That's the lead group. And right now it is a group of 6. Felix Mali, number 13, firing in front. First we've called his name in this race. Bergsma back to 5th. Petzold 4th. And Wenger is back in 6th place. Is anybody else going to join the party here? They will have to do so swiftly. Where's Lubino? Where's Swings? Are they interested in getting involved? And now the pace picking up. Felix Mali. Here's the bell. Final lap. Mali in front. Bergsma second. Jelena Bellino third. Wenger 4th. And the fight is on in the backstretch. Mali trails Bergsma into the corner. Jorrit Bergsma, 39 years old, trying to head back to the Olympic Games again. He'll turn 40 2 weeks before Italy. Jorrit Bergsma wins the mass starts in Salt Lake City. Second mass start win for Bergsma in the last half calendar year. Bergsma takes it down. Felix Mali seconds. Antoine Jelena of Canada third. Weideman 4th. Wenger 5th. And then Fritjof Petzold. And similar to the women's mass, once the lead group broke out, there wasn't really a whole lot of interest by the big names in the back to do anything but spectate. But Jorrit Bergsma, anything but a spectator. With what time he has left on the ice, he is chasing down every point and every win possible. Olympic gold medalist in Sochi, the 10,000. 3-time Olympic medalist. Who knows how long the runway is of his career, but he's not done yet. And he's not taking a single race off. And there are your results. Bergsma, Mali, Jelena Bellino. Weideman up from the B division, a 4th place finish. There, see the rest. And the big names. Stoltz finishes 15th, Gilek 16th. Lubino was a non-factor by choice, I'm sure, finishing 18th. And where's Bart Swings? Front page, Swings. See where he finished. Swings a 10th place finish. Felix Mali, an emotional 2nd place finish and debriefing with his staff and family. And for a lot of these skaters, it is no guarantee they're heading to the Olympics despite what they've done over their career. And for Felix Mali, that tells you just how important it was for him to come through with a big, big race, not only for Germany, but specifically for him. Because again, 4 World Cup events over the next month. It comes down to world rankings in almost every case to punch your ticket to the Olympics. And Felix Mali, a 2nd place finish behind Bergsma. 40 big points for Mali. 63 for Bergsma because he won one of those sprint laps. Picked up 3 extra points. Giovannini finished 14th, Stoltz 15th, Gielich 16th, Lubino 18th. Thumbs up for Jor Bergsma. He is so adored in the speed skating community. Savoring every moment on the ice. And why not? He has earned it. So congratulations, Molly, a silver medal, Bergsma a gold medal. The women's mass start is still under review. So I just pulled up to see if there were any updates on the website. Nothing has changed. They have put points across from some names, but I don't know for sure. I don't believe that to be the official. I mean, it's not, certainly not official. I don't believe that to be the final conclusion. But as we see on the screen, the mass start women is still under review. Now again, the men's mass start we just witnessed is the last event on the schedule. So all that's left to do is to have the award ceremony, but they won't do that until they know for sure that they have the women's mass start results correct. So we'll hang here for a few minutes. Of course, that's a bit open-ended, a bit dangerous on my part because I don't know how long this will take. But I'm guessing with the officiating crew from the women's mass start that even while the men were on the ice the last 8 or 10 minutes, I'm sure they were hustling back to the video room and comparing notes and watching kind of lap by lap, frame by frame to verify and count laps and make sure that they have it right before anything becomes official. So how long will that take? Your guess would be as good as my guess. But I can say this with almost virtual certainty. We won't have an award ceremony until the women's mass start has been properly adjudicated. So it might be a few minutes. Crowd gathering their things. Athletes are taking off their boots, putting on their warm-up suits, thinking about where they're grabbing dinner tonight, what time their flight leaves, because this is just the start. Next weekend we'll be in Calgary for the second stop on the World Cup circuit. Then only a couple of weeks later in Harriman, and then a week after that in Hamar. Those are the 4 World Cups that will determine the world ranking points, the country's quota, how many skaters each country will be allowed to send. And then there will be one final tune-up World Cup event in Innsel, Germany in late January. So this is all, again, if you've been following speed skating, and many of you out there watching have, typically there are 6 World Cup events, some other events scattered in between the 4 continents and many others, but usually out spread across 3 months. It's usually 2 weeks in North America, a gap. 2 weeks in Asia, a gap. 2 weeks in Europe. And then you get ready for the World Championships. Now we're talking, 4 World Cup events within basically 5 weeks' time. And there's kind of a pregnant pause here at the Utah Olympic Oval. And this is just something the officials can't rush, right? This needs to be 100% right. And again, if you're joining the broadcast just a little bit late, the issue appears to be the number of laps that were counted by officials versus the number of laps that were skated by all the skaters, notably the 4 what I believe to be lead lap skaters in the women's mass start that broke away, if memory serves, just ahead of the first sprint lap and were never challenged by the remaining 19 skaters behind. But there did appear to be a discrepancy in terms of the number of laps remaining on the counter, which is within the line of vision for these athletes near the ice that they notice as they swing by. And we saw it specifically with that lead group of four when American Mia Manganiello skated by. She was fourth in that four-person group. And as she skated by, saw the digital readout that said 3 laps remaining for you guys. Manganiello held out 2 fingers as if to say, no, no, we only need 2. And then when the race came to its conclusion, the other 19 skaters never made a move. The front 4 finished, assuming, I believe correctly, that they were on the lead lap, that they were the leaders. But then when the race ended, confusion reigned. Officials got together, and the initial unofficial results that were posted had the 4 apparent leaders of that lead group finishing in various spots in the standings, but not 1 through 4. As a matter of fact, Manganiello, as it stands right now, again, unofficial, and I believe this will be changed, that Manganiello finishing 21st. When Manganiello very well, I believe, finished second because Malte, I think, pipped her right to the finish. But there were 4 apparently on that lead lap. But now, nothing is official. And all the officials on the ice in the video booth, they had several long conferences. They did not make the determination after about 5 minutes on the ice of discussions. The men's mass start skaters were allowed to come on the ice, do their race, but I'm almost certain that in the intervening 15 minutes of time that they have been going back, those officials from the women's race, to comb through with a fine tooth to make sure they have the number of laps correct. But again, nothing official on the women's side yet as far as the order of finish. So all the events are done. The awards ceremony is all that remains. But typically the women's mass start awards ceremony would be first. And you see some of the youngsters helping out this weekend in Salt Lake City with the prizes for the athletes, the medals for the athletes on the trays waiting to be doled out. But they may be waiting for a while. Just kind of reading the room when Manganiello and some of the other athletes came off the ice. There was never a single moment of Manganiello like freaking out that she might have skated 1 fewer lap than necessary. I mean, they know how the race evolved, and I think Manganiello and Malte and the others know that they skated all 16 laps.
For the medal ceremony for the men's mass start.
So now they will do the medal ceremony for the men, which means they still have not come to any kind of conclusion on the women, at least as far as I've been notified.
Gaylord. And now, your bronze medalist representing Canada, Antonia Gillis, Bielo.
Much.
Correction, this is Sheila Elliott. Thank you very much, medalist, 1976. And now, your silver medalist, representing Felix Malay. First place, gold medalist in the men's mass start, representing Netherlands, Charlotte Bergsma. the ISU Speed Skating Men's Mass Start winners.
All right, so there's the medal ceremony for the men's mass start. You heard from George Bergsma briefly after he was awarded the medal, saying it's only getting better, and he's right. So it's Bergsma, Malley, Bellino finishing gold, silver, and bronze. On the women's side, nothing official yet. However, what I'm looking at now, there has been an update, but I don't know if this is official yet. What I'm seeing now is that Mia Manganello is now unofficially at the top of my leaderboard in the women's mass start. Maltad, silver position. Park Jiwoo, third. Evany Blondine, fourth. Kirchhoff, they have fifth. Horikawa, seventh. But the four on the lead group were Manganello, Maltad, Kirchhoff, and Horikawa. Now again, I don't know if this is the official finish, but it at least has been updated. But we will know it's official once we see the women come out for the medal ceremony. But the fact that they are not yet out and not yet queued up to come out tells you that it is not quite ready. So we'll keep it here until we know. And when initially it did show that Maltad came in 400s faster than Manganello, the revised times show Manganello 8:25.57, Maltad at 8:25.62. So 5 100ths is the winning margin unofficially for Manganello. Now again, they're evidently not finished yet, dealing with number of laps, transponder times, etc. So we're still in a holding pattern before this women's mass start becomes official. So we'll hold it here until we know. And the kids getting in position with the medals and with the prizes. Those were really sharp medals, by the way. The mountain range of Salt Lake City. So the kids are getting into position. I don't know if any athletes are behind the curtain ready to come out. But the fact that there is activity near the award ceremony area tells me we might be getting close. And it looks like we are now ready.
The gifts will be presented by Laura Gaylord, finishing in third. Bronze medalist for the mass start from Netherlands, Bente Kirchhoff.
So here we go. So this is now the official results. And it is Bente Kirchhoff of the Netherlands, who was part of that front group. She wins bronze. And they have determined, as I'm looking at my official, I should say official, as I'm looking at my updated stats monitor, those front four were determined to be on the lead lap. So here's the silver medalist, Valerie Maltad of Canada. And Mia Manganello of the United States will come out from that black curtain and win gold. Momoko Horikawa did finish fourth, Blondine fifth, Sato sixth. So the front four that we presumed were on the lead lap. In fact, were. It took some extra work by the officiating crew here in Salt Lake City to verify. And no surprises. And they got it right. It took a little while, but they got it right. And that's the bottom line, and that's all that matters.
First place and gold medalist for the women's mass start champion, representing the United States of America, Maya Manganello.
So here's Maya Manganello, finally. What an entrance. It took about 20 extra minutes. But gold is officially hers in Salt Lake City. Manganello, a couple of World Cup bronzes last year. So the 36-year-old Manganello, the 39-year-old Bergsma, women's and men's mass start World Cup champions
International
here in November of 2025. Congrats
women's
to all.
mass start winner.
All right, well, confusion reigns toward the finish, but the finish is now official, and here are the official results with the points. Manganello gets 60 huge points on her pursuit of another Olympic Games. Valerie Malte second, Kirchhoff third. There are the rest.
Congratulations to all our ISU finishers for the
Doing about
women's mass start
17th
on
place
behalf of
finish.
Utah Olympic Oval, Utah Athletic
So
Foundation.
that is going to put a full lid on the first World Cup of this Olympic season from the Utah Olympic Oval in Salt Lake City. Hope you enjoyed our broadcast all weekend long. We are right back with you next week from Calgary World Cup 2 as we inch a week closer to the Winter Olympic Games in Milano Cortina. So for our entire crew, for the ISU, Patrick Keenis saying thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. What a weekend in Salt Lake City. World records go down 4 times, and we're on our way to Calgary. So long from Salt Lake City and World Cup 1. We'll see you in Calgary next week. Thanks for watching. Good night, everyone.
Congratulations, man. Awesome race.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.